Is Donald Trump's
US-Präsident Trump sein
आपको डोनाल्ड ट्रंप के ग्रेटर
Donald Trump vuelve a
是部署让川普不
During his presidency, Donald Trump made many controversial statements and policy proposals. Among them, his desire to purchase Greenland and strengthen relations with Canada stood out as particularly attention-grabbing and unconventional. So, what would happen if Trump really wanted to annex Canada and Greenland to the United States? How realistic is this idea? And if he succeeded, what would the impact be on the rest of the world? In this comprehensive review, we will delve into this intriguing subject. In 2019, when Donald Trump proposed buying Greenland, it became a topic of ridicule around the world. However, this suggestion may not be as absurd as it first appears. Greenland is the world's largest island and a region of strategic importance. Its rich natural resources, particularly rare earth elements, oil and natural gas reserves, make it noteworthy. Additionally, its proximity to the Arctic offers a significant strategic position in global trade routes. Although Trump's proposal was seen by many as a joke, the U.S. has long had an interest in Greenland. During the Cold War, the U.S. established Thule Air Base in Greenland and used the region as a military outpost. From a historical perspective, Trump's suggestion can be viewed as an attempt to increase America's influence in the Arctic. However, Denmark, the owner of Greenland, firmly rejected Trump's offer. The people of Greenland are also highly protective of their autonomy. But the real question is this: if Greenland were sold, how would the U.S. assert its dominance over the region, and what global effects would this have? If Greenland were bought by the U.S., the effects would be significant both regionally and globally. First, the U.S.'s strategic influence in the Arctic would increase substantially. This would mean the expansion of military bases and easier access to energy resources. The U.S. could gain advantages in trade and defense through newly opened sea routes, which have been influenced by global warming. However, this would likely create significant geopolitical tensions with major powers like Russia and China. China, in particular, has a keen interest in Greenland's natural resources, and the U.S., strengthening its influence in the region, would pose a direct threat to China's interests. Additionally, the people of Greenland would likely resist the loss of their autonomy. Fears of losing their independence could lead to significant local opposition. How the U.S. would manage this resistance remains an open question. During Trump's presidency, relations between the U.S. and Canada were often tense. During NAFTA negotiations, Trump accused Canada of gaining unfair trade advantages and frequently emphasized Canada's dependence on the U.S. However, imagining a scenario in which Canada is desired by the U.S. complicates the situation further. Canada, with its vast natural resource reserves, is a country of strategic importance as the world's second-largest country. If a leader like Trump harbored intentions of incorporating Canada into the U.S., it would have far-reaching economic, political, and cultural consequences. Canada is highly committed to preserving its identity and independence. For example, Canada's healthcare system and gun control policies differ greatly from those in the U.S. A merger of the two countries would create significant uncertainty regarding how these differences would be managed. Additionally, independence movements could strengthen in regions like Quebec, which supports autonomy. It's not difficult to imagine that a leader like Trump wouldn't stop at Greenland and Canada. If the U.S. successfully annexed these two regions, attention could shift to other areas. For instance, Brazil, the largest country in South America, with its natural resources and economic potential, could attract the U.S.'s interest. However, such a scenario would not only increase the power of the U.S., but also lead to chaos around the world. Other countries would have to develop defense mechanisms against this expansionist policy. NATO, the UN, and other international organizations would be under immense pressure to manage such a situation. Furthermore, this type of expansionist policy could deepen political divisions within the U.S. Some Americans might believe that such a policy contradicts the country's democratic values. Trump's desire to annex Greenland and Canada may seem like a fantasy at first glance, but the effects of such scenarios would be profoundly impactful. If they were to happen, such an expansionist policy would fundamentally alter not only the U.S.'s position, but also the geopolitical balance of the entire world. However, the real question is such a scenario truly possible? And if so, who would support it and who would oppose it? Could Greenland's natural wealth and Canada's strategic importance trigger the U.S.'s expansionist ambitions? Or are these just echoes of past imperialist policies? The answers to these questions remain uncertain, but one thing is clear: these debates will continue to reverberate, not only in international relations but also in the future of global politics.